Hi guys, it's Ellie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you guys know, India is a country of unity in diversity, and one of the things that unites us is stories. So in today's video, I'm going to be looking at some novels that are set across India, and I hope that you like my recommendations. Note that last I checked, I saw that India has about 28 states, so it's impossible to include a book from each state. However, if you note that I am missing a major book from any of your regions maybe, please comment the name of the book down below, and preferably please let us know if there is an English translation available. The first book that I'll recommend is today's sponsored book recommendations, and this is called Signature Smile. I'll hold the cover close to the camera because it's really beautiful. This book is set in eastern and northeastern India, parts of India which are often exoticized, I would say, but this book doesn't do that with it, but actually brings out the beauty of these parts. Although this book is actually a romance in the first place, the setting itself plays a major function in bringing out that romance. I think man is an element of nature, and only when he's at peace with nature, he's happy with nature, can his own nature be brought out perfectly. So this book is a perfect example of how nature plays role in the plot of a book. Nature has always been a theme in several books, but in this book it is unconventional. This book, nature is actually sort of like a propelling force for a love plot, so it's different from anything that I've read so far. The last book that I had read was Riders to the Sea, where nature played such an active role in the protagonists' lives, but that story was very different. Coming back to Signature Smile, this book is about a businessman who is extremely charming. All businessmen are somehow charming in most books, I guess. And there's this woman that he really loves. The woman's name is Suhani. And this book is basically his quest for love and attaining Suhani and the problems that come along their way. And I am sure that you're gonna love this book if you love love plots, if you want to explore India in books. But another reason why you should read this book is that this book has really good vocabulary used in it. So if you start reading, you will get stuck because the author uses some really fancy words. And I know that a lot of you guys actually pick up books because you want to improve your English. So if you want to improve your English while you have some fun, this book is actually going to help you a lot. Also, something that I don't usually talk about in videos is the preface of a book. But in this preface, the author writes, India possesses a vibrant tradition of storytelling. Stories have always been an inseparable part of our lives. They not only exemplify the good, the bad and ugly in our society, but have also played an important role in shaping our imagination as well. I must say that this preface has actually made an impression on me more than the chapters of this book have, because I really had not realized it as yet that whoever we are shaped to be, are actually the stories around us. I really suggest that you read this book from cover to cover because I really love the author's insights on the idea of storytelling. If you want to be an author yourself, I'm sure you're going to be relating. But although I don't want to be an author myself, I related really hard with these few lines at the preface of this book. So I'm sure all these sound great. The link to buy this book will be in the description below. You can go check it out, and yeah, let me know how your experience was reading this book. The next book that I'll recommend is a book that is set in Kashmir, and this book is actually nominated for the JCB prize this year, and I'm really rooting for it to win. This is called The Farfield by Madhuri Vijay. There's this woman in her late 20s as far as I remember, and she has gone to find this man called Bashir Ahmed in Kashmir, and she is finding the horrors of Kashmir. This Bashir Ahmed was actually a friend of her mother, and she remembered how this Bashir Ahmed actually treated her mother like no one else, not even like her father. And somehow this uncanny friendship actually makes an impact on her, and since she has not seen this man in several years, she's worried about him and she goes to Kashmir. But don't read this book if you are not one who has a strong heart, because you really need it. I actually read The Farfield on Storytel. It's over a 10-hour long audiobook. So if you want to check it out as an audiobook, the link to a Storytel free trial of 30 days will be in the description below, storytel.com/Helly. This book is actually a little bit pricey in Amazon, but that doesn't mean you should not read this book, because this book is really good. The next recommendation that I have is a recommendation from my own place, Bengal, and this is called The Boat Trek by Rabindranath Tagore. Fun fact, some silly guy commented that it's Rabindranath Tagore, not Thakur. And I was like, what the hell are you saying? Thakur is basically Bengali for Tagore. Okay, the lady near my home is actually cooking food, so you can hear pressure cooker noises. So I'm so sorry about it, but I guess they have to eat. Coming back to The Boat Trek. Boat Trek is one of my favorite Rabindranath Tagore stories. It's like a love quadrangle sort of a thing. So there are opposite pairings, there are dilemmas. There's a man who is forced to marry someone he doesn't like. After marrying, he realizes that that's not even the woman he married. It's a wife of a different man. I can't even... This man, okay, Ramesh. This book really explores the complexities of human emotion, and if you do not have the time to read this book, or if you don't have access to it, but you can easily access it on Storytel only. There's the copy of this book as an audiobook there as well. Just in case you don't want to read the book, you can also watch this Hindi adaptation if you don't speak Bengali. This Hindi adaptation is called Kashmakash, and the Bengali is obviously called No Kadubi. The next book that I'll recommend is a book set in Assam by Parismita Singh. This was one of the first books in which I read about northeastern India, and the interesting part of this book is that it's written in beautiful flowing language. It's like you were actually floating along the rivers of northwestern India. I don't know how the author actually manages to write so beautifully. This is a collection of very, very short tales. So even if you are not someone who can hold your patience for long, you will enjoy this book. So yeah, make sure you give it a go. Just look at this painting. Can you guys see this painting? Isn't it beautiful? The next book that I'll recommend is a book that is set in Allahabad, and this book is called Chandrasudha in English. I'm pretty sure that you have heard the name of this book in Hindi called Gunaho Ka Devta. It's a very, very popular book, and I was exposed to this book when this serial adaptation came out called Chandrasudha, I guess that was the name, and it came out on Life OK, and this was the days when Life OK actually had good shows, and somehow I really liked everything that they were showing in the trailers, and it seemed like it would be a very different sort of a serial than the ones that they made before. So I started watching it and I was pulled in immediately. It follows the life of Chandar and Sudha. Sudha is the daughter of Chandar's professor, and the professor really loves Chandar, but there's this difference of class and caste that he just does not want to see beyond, which is one of the primary problems of India if we think about it. Although I read the book in English translation, so I guess a lot of it was actually lost in translation. But still, I could feel the essence of the lines. Sometimes I would actually read the English and translate it back to Hindi, because it takes me like a lot of time to finish reading one page of Hindi book. So I pick up the English translation. Moving a bit down, we have Gujarat, and there's this amazing book called Saraswatichandra. I am sure that you watched at least the trailer of this Star Plus show called Saraswatichandra, and I fell in love with Gautam Roy in that. I'm pretty sure you know at least the premise of Saraswatichandra. It's a very, very popular tale from Gujarat, and I loved it. I also loved the serial. So I realized that two of these books are actually books that I was actually exposed to because of Indian television, and I guess Indian television must not be that bad. But both of these books, I guess most of the books set in India explore Indian and human complexities in great depth, because that's a common criteria that I am looking at every time I'm talking about a book. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Next book is actually set in Mumbai, Maharashtra, and this book is called Milk Teeth by Amrita Mahale. This is also one of the books that was nominated for this year's JCB prize, and I was really rooting for it to win. And this is a brilliant book, honestly. I read this book because a lot of my friends were reading it. Amrita Mahale also happens to be the sister of Anirudh Mahale, who I am a big fan of because I used to watch BuzzFeed. I do watch BuzzFeed now too. Milk Teeth is actually the first book that I have read which explores Bombay in such depth. Like, I would have never known about a lot of things about Bombay had I not read this book. And Amrita Mahale has a beautiful writing style. I loved the ending, although I did not expect that to be the ending, but that's the point, that what I expected was not the ending. There's so many times that I have just found out what I wanted at the end, and then I was like, No, I don't like this book anymore. Next book that I'll be recommending, going a bit more south, will be this 1997 Booker Prize winner, The God of Small Things. Estha and Rahel are probably the most dynamic characters that I've ever read about. I would like to read out this particular review by Rajgopal Nidambur from the Sunday Observer. The God of Small Things has it all: echoes, calls, and cries of the earth, but more importantly, an intellectual daring. This is not just an extraordinary novel, but an uncoiling spring of human foreboding and inevitability. It's quite simply unbeatable, and I could not agree more. This really sums down my all my expectations, all my realizations after I read this novel. And yeah, I hope that you guys like this book. This book also approaches a very taboo subject. I have a review of this book. I made that review when I was really young and just getting started on YouTube, so it might be a bit funny, but you can check it out if you want to. The next book is once again a storytell read, and this is Perumal Murugan's One Part Woman. Punachi is probably the most popular book by Perumal Murugan because last year it came out and it was really hyped, and I'm so happy that he got the hype he deserves here. And I loved One Part Woman more than I liked Punachi. One Part Woman views gender and sex in the light of local customs and rituals and, you know, culture in general. And that is what is the aspect of this book that I loved the most, and I thought that it would be really resonating with anyone who is reading across India and wants to find out more about different parts of India. So yeah guys, this will be all of my recommendations for today's video. Among all the recommendations that I had for you today, most of these books were of medium language in terms of difficulty. Only Perumal Murugan's book is actually easy to read in translation, but all the other books are medium level. So even if you are a beginner, you can read it, but just have some patience. And if you want to read something difficult, just read Latitudes of Longing. Not extremely difficult definitely, but then it takes you time to comprehend it. It's one of my favorite books that, you know, explores the length and breadth of the Indian subcontinent, and by the markers you see, you can actually understand how much I love it, because I don't usually leave markers in my books, let alone so many. So yeah, make sure you go for this one if you are looking for difficult reads. All the links to your free trials and these books will be in the description below. Make sure you buy it from there because that helps me a lot in keeping posting content on my channel. If you want to be my patron on Patreon, the link will be on the description below as well. Also, if you want to recommend me books regarding your particular community or your particular area, leave them in the comment section below because I'm always looking for new reads. I'll be back with another video next week. Till then, bye bye.